The dead of night. It's a time when the world feels different, doesn't it? The familiar shadows lengthen and twist, and the silence can be both peaceful and profoundly unsettling. Most of us are tucked away safely, but for some, the darkest hours bring encounters that defy explanation and leave a permanent mark. Tonight, we're going to explore 3 more true stories from the dead of night. Stories that remind us that sometimes the most unsettling things happen when the rest of the world is asleep. Our first story comes from a long-haul trucker named Mark. Driving through the vast, empty deserts of Nevada in the middle of the night was just another Tuesday for him. The endless ribbon of asphalt was his office, the drone of the engine his soundtrack. On this particular night, around 3 a.m., he saw something up ahead. A single, faint light, bobbing by the side of the road. As he got closer, he saw it was a lantern held by an old woman in a simple, old-fashioned dress. She was just standing there, in the middle of nowhere, miles from the nearest town. Mark slowed down, concerned. Had her car broken down? He pulled his massive rig to a stop, the air brakes hissing in the silent desert. He rolled down his window, the cool night air rushing in. "Ma'am, you all right? Need some help?" he called out. She just looked at him, her face pale and expressionless in the glow of the lantern. She didn't say a word. She just slowly, deliberately raised her free hand and pointed. Not down the road, not behind him, but straight out into the black, empty desert. Mark felt a chill that had nothing to do with the night air. There was nothing out there, just sand, sagebrush, and darkness. "What is it? What's out there?" he asked, his voice a little shaky now. The woman lowered her arm, turned, and just started walking into the desert, her lantern swinging gently. He called after her, but she didn't look back. He watched, utterly baffled, as her small light grew fainter and fainter until it was just a pinprick. And then it was gone. Mark sat there for a good 10 minutes, the silence of the desert pressing in on him. He considered calling the police, but what would he say? That he saw a ghost. Shaken, he put the truck in gear and drove on, glancing in his mirrors every few seconds. The rest of the drive was uneventful, but he could never shake the image of that woman and her silent, chilling gesture into the vast, empty darkness. Next, we journeyed to a quiet suburban neighborhood, to a story from a woman named Clara. Clara was a light sleeper, and one night she was woken up by a strange sound from her backyard. It was a faint, rhythmic tapping. Tap, 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 against her bedroom window. At first, she thought it was a tree branch swaying in the wind, but the night was perfectly still. Annoyed but not yet alarmed, she got out of bed and peeked through the blinds. Her blood ran cold. Standing in her yard, staring right up at her window, was a figure. It was too dark to make out any features, just a tall, thin silhouette. And it was holding something long and slender, using it to tap against her window. Tap, 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 her heart hammered against her ribs. She froze, hidden behind the blinds, too scared to move, too scared to even breathe. Who was this person? And why were they tapping on her window in the middle of the night? The tapping stopped. Clara held her breath, listening. Silence. After what felt like an eternity, she dared to peek again. The yard was empty. The figure was gone. She quickly checked all the locks on her doors and windows, her hands trembling. The next morning, she went outside, expecting to find footprints or some sign of the intruder. She found something far more disturbing. Lying on the ground, directly beneath her window, was a single, long-stemmed, white rose. Its petals were perfect, untouched. There were no thorns on the stem. She never heard the tapping again, but for months, every rustle of leaves, every creak of the house sent a jolt of fear through her. The image of that silent figure and the mystery of the rose left a permanent unease, a constant reminder of the night a stranger stood in her yard, just watching. Our final story tonight takes place in a remote cabin deep in the Appalachian Mountains. A group of 4 friends, Liam, Chloe, Ben, and Maya, had rented it for a weekend getaway, a break from city life. The first night was perfect. They built a fire, told stories, and enjoyed the pristine wilderness. On the second night, a thick fog rolled in, swallowing the cabin and muffling all sound. Around midnight, as they were getting ready for bed, they heard it. A sound from outside. It wasn't an animal. It was singing. A child's voice, humming a simple, haunting nursery rhyme. The melody floated through the dense fog, seeming to come from all directions at once. They all froze, looking at each other. They were miles from any other house. There shouldn't be a child anywhere near them. Liam grabbed a heavy flashlight and cautiously opened the front door, peering into the soupy white fog. "Hello?" He called out, his voice sounding small and swallowed by the mist. The humming stopped. Dead silence. For a moment, they thought they had imagined it. Then, a small giggle echoed from somewhere deep in the woods to their left. It was a playful sound, but in that context, it was utterly terrifying. Then slammed the door shut and bolted it. They spent the rest of the night huddled together in the living room, listening. The humming would start up again, then stop, followed by that chilling giggle, each time seeming to come from a different spot around the cabin. It felt like they were being circled. They didn't sleep a wink. As soon as the first light of dawn pierced the fog, they threw their bags in the car and left, not even bothering to clean up. As they drove away, Maya looked back at the cabin and swore she saw a small face peeking out from behind a tree, just for a second before it vanished back into the woods. They never talked about what happened that night, but none of them ever forgot the child's voice that haunted the fog. But night holds secrets. For Mark, Clara, and those friends in the cabin, it brought experiences that linger long after the sun has risen. They remind us that even in our modern, well-lit world, there are still corners of darkness where the unexplained resides. What do you think they encountered? A lost soul, a strange prankster, or something else entirely? Let me know your theories down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching and sharing these stories with me. If you enjoyed this and want to hear more tales from the dead of night, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Stay safe and sleep well.